guys, Ashley here for Sparky Loves Books, and today I am going to talk about some of my favorite female book characters that I have read. These are some outstanding female characters who I wish were like my best friend, or who I think are particularly strong characters, or that have just left a huge impression on me. And they're not going to be in any particular order. Here are my favorite female characters. First one is Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables. Anne holds an especially dear place in my heart because those books were the first ones that really got me into reading. They are the ones that when I was a kid I was obsessed with, and I would read cover to cover, and I loved the PBS movie version with Megan Follows. I just loved Anne. I thought she was an incredibly imaginative character, and she just jumped out of the page for me as a young reader. I think that when I read Anne of Green Gables books I was like 9-ish, and those, like I said, those were the ones that really got me to be a bookworm and be the person I am today. So I just really identified with Anne and how she was always kind of had her head in the clouds and just loved language and literature and wasn't afraid of that and wasn't afraid to be a strong person, and I just thought she was just the coolest, most awesome heroine ever, and so she really left an impression on me, and I think that she's left an impression on a lot of people actually over the years. I applaud the way she was written. She stood the test of time as an amazing literary heroine, and she's just amazing. If you haven't read Anne of Green Gables, I really recommend it. It's a very touching, wonderfully done classic, and Anne Shirley is just, she's just a doll. I just adore her. 2, Elizabeth Bennet. She's like the mother of literary heroines for me. You can't talk about female heroines without talking about Pride and Prejudice's Elizabeth Bennet. She is strong, she is opinionated, she is well read, she is unconventional for her time, she is snarky, she is funny, she's everything. She is it. Kind of wish I could go back into that time and be a part of that time period in England, and also that she was an actual real person so I could go back in time and meet her. But such is the woe of a bookworm that we wish that these characters were real so that we could actually fall in love with them or meet them or have them be a part of our life. But they're not, and so we cry every day. She's just amazing, and I really think she paved the way for future characters, for future female main characters. Jane Austen, she was a pioneer for literature and for female authors, and her main character of Elizabeth Bennet is the one that really stands out the most for most people, and I just know why. She's cool. I mean, she lived in the 1800s, but manages to still be super cool. Like, any interpretation of her in movies is really cool too. You can't help but love Lizzie Bennet in whatever form she's in, and I think that really says something. My 3rd favorite female character is actually kind of a cheat because it's 4 in 1. It is the 4 girls from the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants series: Lena, Carmen, Bridget, and Tibby. This is probably my 3rd time I've talked about these books in my video blogging experience, but they were like my Bible in middle school. I held them dearly. I loved each of those girls. They were so separate and different and unique and deep and so like fleshy. Like, they were real people with all of these multiple dimensions, and I loved them. I really wanted them to be real and like hang out with me and give me life advice and go on cool adventures with me and just be there for me to talk things out with. I particularly identified with Carmen. We both have Puerto Rican heritage. We both grew up with our single mom, and we were crazy close with our single mom growing up. Like, to the point where, you know, we shared rooms together in tiny apartments and told each other secrets and were each other's best friends. We also have absent fathers who didn't tell us about our step families. We had to find out about them accidentally. That happened to Carmen, it happened to me. We both have a love of literature and writing, and Carmen is me, and I think that it's beautiful to find a character you identify so closely with, and so she particularly is like an Achilles heel for me. But Bridget, I loved Bridget. I wish that I was Bridget, but I also don't, because she has a lot of messed up stuff going on in her life and in her head. Oh, poor baby Bridget. But I really loved her and wish I could be her and have her confidence and her looks. Lena was just an absolute cupcake who was just shy and beautiful and just timid and lovely. And then Tibby, who just like makes the world better by being absolutely snarky, hating the world, and I love it, and it was fun to read. So those four are way up there for me also, those four ladies. Rose Hathaway is number 4 from the Vampire Academy series because duh. Rose Hathaway has everything. She has confidence, she is strong both physically and mentally and emotionally, she is there for her best friend, she is sexy, she is smart, she always has something funny to say. I wish I had her one-liners. All of the things. Like, she's amazing, and I will fight you on that. Never so immediately loved a female character, I don't think. Like, as soon as the first chapter was done, I was like, oh, hi Rose, I wish I was you. Rose Hathaway has unfailingly been freaking awesome, and I adore the crap out of her. Again, I will fight you if you disagree with me. Mia Hall from If I Stay. I just really love Mia's use of language, which I suppose is actually Gayle Forman's manipulation of language, not Mia Hall's. She doesn't really care about all the trivial things in life like a lot of teenagers do in real life and in book life, in literature. She's very focused, very driven, very goal-oriented, very mature. She's so mature for her age, and I know a lot of that is due to the way her parents raised her, but even still, I think she is an outstanding character. She's not whiny, she's not clingy, she's completely, like, she has very unique interests and very relatable interests, and I just find her a wonderful, wonderful main character. She's one of the best I've ever read. Wish she was my best friend because she's just calm and collected and mature. I love her voice that comes out of the pages. I think it's just stellar, which is again a tribute to Gayle Forman's writing and a testament to it. I will never stop talking about If I Stay or Mia Hall because I think it's a good example of young adult literature that is actually better than adult literature. Charlie Davidson from the Charlie Davidson series by Dorinda Jones. I feel like the best way to describe Charlie is to say that she is Rose Hathaway plus 15 years. Again, very confident, very sure of herself, very sexy, very quick-witted, always has a comeback, and it's always perfect. She has an amazing sense of humor that I would kill to have in myself, and I don't have it, and that's fine. I am who I am. She is just full. She's full of life, and she's like full-figured, and she's real. I feel like she could be a real person because she has all of these real attributes. I am gonna say on this list, probably my favorite female character. I love My Sister the Traveling Pants Girls, and I love Anne Shirley, but something about Charlie is just so freaking colorful and wonderful, and kudos to Dorinda for writing her because, like, oh my god, I wish she was so real. I don't think enough people know about these books, and I want more people to know about them. Read it for Charlie, because she's just, I mean, her name is Charlie. Does it get any better than that? Like, do you need to know anything else? No, you don't. Next is Diana Bishop from the All Souls trilogy. The first one is Discovery of Witches. Probably the smartest lead character I've ever read. She has a PhD. She knows a little bit about everything. She's a historian. She is so brainy, and she's a very gifted character. She has all these gifts, and she's continuing to find more gifts throughout the story. She's scared of them, and it's really nice and humbling to see like a strong female lead who is not afraid to be scared of things, because if I were her, I would be scared of all these powers too. Isn't too focused like on romance in her life. Like, if romance is coming to her, which it does, whew, Matthew, that's for another video. She embraces the romance without letting it consume her and be her entire self and her entire identity. She's still strong and loves history and loves her family and misses her family when they're gone. She's a refreshing character. She's older, she's mature, she's a mature woman, and she embraces that, and she embraces all of her unique things she does, like running and rowing and history and books and being a nerd sometimes. She embraces all of it, and it's wonderful because she's so multidimensional. Her character, as multidimensional as it is a reflection of the bigger work itself. Like, A Discovery of Witches has a little bit of everything in it, and that's why it's such a good read for anybody. I think anybody can find something to enjoy in those books, just like I think anybody can find some awesome trait in Diana Bishop. Sookie Stackhouse from the Southern Vampire Mystery series by Charlaine Harris. I do not mean Sookie Stackhouse from the TV show. She is much different, and don't you tell me that she's not. She's fiercely independent, not afraid of herself. She is curvy. She's such a hard worker. She's such a hard worker and doesn't take shit from anybody, even men, even big men, even supernatural big men. She doesn't take shit from them. If something is wrong, she will say it's wrong, and I love it. I love it, love it. I wish all women would be as confident in doing that as she is. She works hard, has her own house. Anytime something is broken, she fixes it herself. Anytime some disaster happens, she attempts to fix it herself before calling for help. Is 100% independent, and it's inspirational. It's wonderful. If you're gonna read it for something, read it for Sookie, because she's a babe. There it is. She's a babe. Penryn Young from the Penryn and the End of Day series by Susan E. It's a little bit hard, honestly, for me to describe exactly why Penryn's one of my favorite characters. It's mostly because, unlike this hodgepodge of female characters I'm telling you about now, she's not quick-witted, and she's not smart on her feet, you know, words-wise. She doesn't always make the best decisions. She's not a good flirt. So she's very unlike a lot of these other characters that I've been talking about. She gets tongue-tied over words a lot of times and isn't as quick on her feet with decisions as a lot of these other characters are, which I think is awesome because it makes her so much more relatable. Because, like, in the real world, when I'm talking to somebody and I want, like, a really quick comeback, I'll be like, whatever. Yeah, like, that's really gonna be the comeback of the year. And, like, Penryn does exactly that too, and I just, hooray for that. Like, seriously, I think that's so cool that she does that. And more than that, she still is a kick-ass character. Like, she knows karate, she can hold her own, she can take grown men and fight them and win, and she overcomes, like, the end of the world, you know? It's just great that she can be both awesome physically and hold her own that way, and not be sure-footed when it comes to boys or wordplay and those kinds of things. And I just think that she's an absolute cutie pie too. Really readable, like all of her dialogue and all of her interior monologue, even when you read the books, is just super page turnings, and she makes it for a wonderful narrator. And I just adore her as a female character because she's not perfect, but she's still the right kind of not perfect, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Selena Sardothien from the Throne of Glass series. How do I even begin to describe this wonderful character? There are not enough male characters like her, let alone female characters. She is a badass assassin who also loves dresses and getting her nails done and getting her hair done, and also is an absolute smarty pants. She loves history and puzzles and music and playing the piano and language and books. What else is there to love? Like, she is everything. She's so amazing, and all these character traits just are freaking fantastic. Not that I'm condoning murder, but she is an assassin, and that makes her flawed. That's like her obvious biggest flaw. However, the reasons why she is assassin are completely justifiable, which really end up making her the most righteous character out of all of them. And how interesting is that the master assassin is the one who ends up usually being right, and the one that you're always rooting for. Like, you always are rooting for her to win, even though she's supposed to be the bad guy. And it's just awesome. She's so fantastic. She's so strong. She's the epitome of a strong character. She doesn't mind being the smartest or the strongest or the most cunning or the most vicious person, even if she is a small, slight woman. That doesn't intimidate her or feel like it's wrong to be that way despite being a woman, and that's incredibly inspirational. And she seems pretty flawless, honestly, which sounds like it might not be very appealing. Who wants to read about a flawless character? But it's not. There's so much to her and her thoughts and how they churn and are in her head that you don't mind how awesome she is and how kind of unrealistically awesome she is. In my opinion, you won't end up minding it. Finally, Jude Sweetwine from I'll Give You the Sun. A fantastic female character because she ends up learning that she needs to not suppress who she is. On the one hand, she loves being popular and fitting in and being a valley girl. On the other hand, she's very artsy and family-oriented and love-oriented. And there is no justifiable reason for her to be suppressing these parts of her. And she realizes she needs to just be the truest form of herself and be her no matter what. And I think that that's amazing because basically she's saying, damn the consequences, I'm going to be who I am. And if you have something to say about that, too bad, this is my life, I'm going to live it the way I want to because I get one shot at this. And it's fantastic. It's a great epiphany for her to come to. She's just so colorful, and I kind of wish that I was her a little bit. She has so much personality, and also she's really awesome at flirting, which is just fun to read, let's be honest. And those are my favorite female characters. Feel free to message me on my blog on Tumblr or to leave a comment on my video. Let me know what you thought about the females that I chose to talk about, or let's talk about your favorite female characters. I love talking women because women are the best. Happy reading.